Hello everybody, and welcome back to Evolving Vibes. This is my scrying video, part 2. In this video, what I'm going to do is just demonstrate some of the tools that I use for divination, as well as the ritual that I practice in order to actually open up my third eye and allow my second sight to be fully utilized during the process of divination for me. Now, what you'll notice is it's much darker in here, of course. I'm just going to pull back my camera just a little bit so that you can see that it's completely nighttime out, and I'm literally just using my candles on my altar as I put myself into this state for divination. Now, a couple of things that I like to do. First and foremost, I use a myrrh and frankincense type incense mixture in order to prepare my area and cleanse my area. I do treat this as a ritual, depending upon who you speak with. Some people will say it's not a ritual, and it isn't, but I like to treat it as if it is so. And in my world, because I'm opening up a door to speak with the divine, it certainly is a ritual to me. So that being said, this is the frankincense and incense that I use to put myself in a more meditative state, as well as to cleanse my tools and my area. To do so, I use my trusty cauldron, as you can see there. And what I'm basically doing is just dropping a little bit of incense into the charcoal. It really only takes a couple of pieces of incense, and it really does smoke up nicely, and you can't enjoy the odor, but the fragrance from this incense is absolutely amazing. So now I'll pick up my cauldron, and I'm just going to cleanse my area. And same thing on this side. And my tools. And then we'll just put my cauldron back. Now, one of the things that you weren't able to see was that I've already cleansed myself and prepared myself to really get myself focused, comfortable, and relaxed. You may hear some background music right now. I was talking about frequencies in the previous video. This music that you're actually hearing is something I searched out on YouTube, and it opens up the third eye. It opens up that second sight. The music itself is very soothing to me, very cleansing for my area, and allows me to open up my ability of divination just a little bit more. As with other videos, I am having tea. Now, the biggest difference is with this tea is it's my own blend. This tea is something that I blended for divination. It relaxes because there is some lavender in there. Along with that, there's some mugwort and some other herbs that are specifically utilized to open up that second sight and to allow our psychic abilities to be a little bit more in tuned and a little bit more aware, as well as allowing our conscious mind, our masculine mind, to be able to wander off a little bit and allow our subconscious mind, our feminine mind, to take over. Now, generally what I do is I'll take my tea and I'll focus on my intent and I'll put it over the incense smoke. After I've done that, I'll hold it in my hands for just a couple of minutes while I focus my intent and while I focus on what it is exactly I'm looking to get out of this session. After I've done that, I'll take my tea and I'll place it in my teacup and I'll let it steep. While my tea is steeping, I'm going to focus on the energy in the room. I'm going to focus on the cleansing fragrance that's coming from my cauldron. And I'm going to focus my mind on that music you can hear. This I usually take my time with. We're clearly not going to go the full length and full extent of divination in this video, but I am going to show you how I begin my session and what my session somewhat looks like. So, after I've meditated, I like to take this piece of selenite and just focus my third eye on the illuminated aspects of it. I find it cleansing, relaxing, and working as a power source to charge up my energy field to maintain my protection and to maintain a cleansing effect on my altar. In doing so, no negativity is invited in, nor can negativity stay. And I'll do this for quite a few minutes until my subconscious tells me it's reached its desired effect, at which time I'll place it down. I also take my crystals and I'll do the exact same thing. Being that these crystals are universal, I can empower them any which way that I want. These two crystals in particular are always on my altar, so they're already programmed to empower me and what I place forward for intent, as well as to protect and keep clean. And you can see by working with these crystals and working with the illumination of these crystals, it automatically puts you into a state of deeper and deeper focus, a state of more relaxation, as well as opening up that second sight. And when I feel the effects of these crystals is fully maximized, I'll also place them down on my altar. And whenever my incense smoke begins to lighten up, I'll just add a couple more pieces of incense to it. Now, let's say I'm working with this crystal tonight. If I were, I would just focus my intent now, what it is I'm asking, what question it is I need an answer to, and then I would just twist it and turn it and focusing on my question and focusing on my crystal ball. I would remain quiet versus how I am right now speaking, and I would listen for my subconscious, that inner voice. And when intuitively I was told to stop, I would stop And I would just gaze into the ball, either by holding it as I am, or by placing it on the table. And I would just look for the message. What words might be coming to my mind? What music? What scent? What images? What images do I see within the crystal? And when I felt as though my question was answered, I would thank the universe. I would step back through the door. I would invite any energies that were working with me on the other side of the door, and any energies that weren't working with me, to stay where they are, as they're not invited back into my realm. And then I would close the door. So that is one of the tools I use for scrying. This here is the second one for me. The format's actually the same. Turning it, focusing on my intent, focusing on my question, and intuitively stopping whenever I felt the need to stop, and then focusing on the imagery within the crystal, as well as any words or images that pop up into my head. When this session has ended also, same thing goes. Come back through the door. Don't invite any empowerment to any entities to come with you. And then close the door. I would do the same thing with my mirror. You can see how it illuminates in the candlelight. It's quite spectacular in person, I assure you. And I would do the same thing. Open the mirror, focus on my intent or my question, and then gaze into the mirror, awaiting my response. I may so gaze with the mirror, looking directly into my eyes, into my soul, or I may just ask a general question and just gaze in the mirror. Whenever the session would end though, same thing goes. Just close it, close the door behind me, everything that worked with me on the other side still, me back here alone. Now as we do this, we're going to talk about my crystal ball in just a minute. This is another stone that I use for divination, however, and it's quite beautiful in candlelight in real life, and it does offer a lot of information for me when I do use it for divination. It's a bismuth, and I highly recommend it to everybody. And now my crystal ball. We're just going to move a little bit closer into my crystal ball. And what you'll notice I do with my crystal ball is I don't hold on to it. I bring my hands to it, and then I just share my energy with the crystal ball, and the crystal ball shares its energy with me. As you'll do this, you'll actually feel the sensation between your hand and the crystal ball. And it's just an amazing feeling of sharing energy. And I would do this for a period of time until I felt my vibe and the crystal ball's vibe were pretty much close, if not on point. At which time, I would simply place my hands down and just gaze directly into the crystal ball. I would move my head around as necessary, but I would focus my energy on any one point in the crystal ball, sitting quiet, allowing the communication to work, and receiving whatever messages there might be for me to receive. When the session would be done, I would come back into my realm, close the door behind me, once again cleansing and making sure my space remains clean, and then close out my ritual of divination. Now, for me, to close out my ritual of divination, I like to hold this moonstone. And I thank the universe for opening up my third eye, allowing my second sight to communicate with it, focus on the messages that I received, what they may mean to me, what they may mean in relationship to the question I asked, and just contemplate for a period of time. Because as you can probably tell, this is a very relaxing and very rewarding ritual. Most often, I'm in no rush to complete it, and I'll spend a lot of time just enjoying the pleasant imagery and the amazing energy within the area. Because that's another thing that I can't really share with you through the camera. But if you were in my space right now, the energy is absolutely amazing. How the room feels, the fragrance of the frankincense, the candlelight, and this wonderful music. It brings you to a very, very calm and relaxed state. And I suggest this to all my witches. You can start off doing this just for the relaxation and just for the meditation. And as you do this, grow into your divination. So often people get frustrated with divination because they want this done instantly, and they think it's a lot like the movies, which it's nothing like the movies, and it does take time. But this is a perfect example of it's not the destination, which in itself is amazingly rewarding, but it's the journey to get to that destination of divination. This journey is equally as rewarding. The meditation and the relaxation you get from this will pay you dividends throughout your day, throughout your week, and certainly with a wonderful night's sleep after you've done this ritual. So I strongly recommend to everybody, practice this. Maybe practice this daily, maybe a couple of days a week. It's all up to you, right? Whatever works for you, whatever vibes with you. But certainly, practice this. The more often you do it, the more rewarded you're going to be. And certainly, you don't have to have a giant crystal ball. I did buy this on Amazon. It was an amazingly cheap price. But certainly, most people would say this is the perfect size crystal ball to work with. And they're not wrong. I spend many a night just holding this in my bed and utilizing it for divination. So certainly, that's why I have so many different tools whichever one vibes with me that night is the tool I'm going to use. And I think too, you'll find this as you start your journey and progress within your journey of divination. So I do hope you enjoyed this video for tonight. I do look forward to seeing you in my next video. Please, please, please be sure to like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know what ideas of other videos you may want me to put together for you. And until next time, as always, be safe, be well, and be blessed.